digging up the leaders, man. Kai.
Yeah, but remember the sign language, man.
All right, go to the YouTube channel.
No, they want to see the signing.
We're not signing, man. Show nobody's not signing.
Oh.
YouTube. There you go. Yeah. All right, so go to the YouTube channel. That's where you're gonna see. All right, let's go.
Watch them turn glass in about. Hey, yo, yellow.
All right.
So
everybody's Grown Men Talk podcast. My name is Noran Price here with the team. Lyndon is not here; he's off, but he'll be back next week. So
that's why I'm here.
And we're here. Oh, that's your camera. That's
why I'm here.
So we have our friend Rodney.
Hey, yo, yellow.
Good evening, sir. All is well?
It is well. I'm here with my friend.
All right.
I have to make a drink so we can say cheers because I can't start drinking.
So today on Grown Men Talk podcast, we're going to be talking about masculinity. That was a topic that came up on Sunday. Asked a few people what they consider masculinity, male and female, and it's quite interesting what people have as their view of masculinity. So I'm going to start with my guest, brother. What do you consider masculine? Cheers.
Cheers. Yes. So you have to take a sip.
You're a big man.
Yeah.
Father, all this thing.
Yeah.
What do you consider masculinity in terms of the state of masculinity itself? What is it?
All right. Masculinity by itself is, and let me just make the disclaimer. I have no intention to try and conform to any new version of anything. Okay? That being said, masculinity is, I think, the capture, the understanding, the collective being of man. There are certain things, they tell you that you need to protect and you must hunt and you must, all these wonderful things. But masculinity is that ability to understand that as a man, there are certain things that you do not necessarily veer away from. And the pillar of masculinity that you stand on its foundation begins not when you are a man, but when you are a boy. And if you are taught to be a boy all your life, your masculinity is under threat.
It's stunted.
Yes, indeed. So
when I hear the word masculinity, I immediately think of people like my father, my uncles growing up. What we considered man was, there was a little stoicism, but there was a general feeling of strength of character.
Man must be man.
Man must be man. But to break it down further than just man and man, it is conduct yourself in a certain way. Yes, it's logic based a lot of the time, but not every man is logical.
Right.
But for the most part, it was a behavior. It was a feeling. It was a state of being where you make sure everybody is okay. There's a phrase a friend of mine likes to use. He says, "Who is most among you shall be your biggest servant." So therefore, you have to make sure that everybody is okay.
Yeah. Masculinity must lead.
Yes. Now, 2024, whole lot of conversation with people about, I can't make you lead me, I don't want to be led, but that's from the female perspective. But masculinity doesn't always have to do only with the feminine. Even between men, there's masculinity there.
Yeah.
The strongest character is usually people who people follow. True?
True. And to be a good leader, you must understand how to follow.
And you can also follow.
And how to lead.
So I've seen things that, as far as being male, I have a little bit of problem with, because again, it may not be right, it may not be wrong, but this is how I grew up. There's a level of stoicism that as a man you must show. Now, stoicism don't mean you must serious and tough face all the time. You can laugh and joke and carry on at it. But when it's time for seriousness, you get serious. What I see a lot of is, for lack of a better word, there's this complaining nature.
Of today's man.
Of some. I will never say all. Some.
Well, today's man is never going to be an absolute.
Okay.
So for those who are watching and tuning in,
the all police, we're not doing the all police.
No, we're not doing the all, right?
But this is some.
Yeah.
Now, there's a I look at it differently. Maybe if growing up I stood up for myself, what some people might consider complaining, maybe I would have turned out a little different. Maybe it would have been more, towards making myself better. But when I see somebody, even some of the men my age now, it's this complaining. It's this, but why not this an argument? And to me, that's not very masculine. To me,
Well,
not saying you can't do it, but just
yeah.
to me.
Well, masculinity has to it a sort of elevator in a building kind of idea.
Okay.
So even a man who is not socialized in the way you or I would see masculinity, that doesn't make him not a man or
Absolutely,
not masculine.
I agree.
It's just that you have, like driving, you have a learner. You have people who don't drive. You have people who drive bad. You have very good drivers. You have those who have learned by trial and error and are now master drivers. And some people, like I use the analogy about elevators, some people have a tendency to be comfortable in the basement. Everybody goes in at the lobby, but some people press B and go down to the basement. Some other people are in the penthouse, but they don't necessarily deserve to be in the penthouse either. It just so happens that they've stayed in the elevator of life and gone up with people. One of the most important things about masculinity is its ability to understand. As you said, when you need to be this, when you need to be that, the relevant energy that is required. Even lions are playful.
Yeah.
So this idea, it doesn't weaken the lion because he's playful. But at the same time, a lion who is only playful is going to get a hard ass box to say, hold on.
When life comes at you.
Yeah, man, this is not, you don't hunt and laugh.
Is there such a thing as being too masculine? Now, we've all grown up and had that one bridging or been around a one man who just big and tough like that cutting out around oak tree.
Yeah.
And it just feels that it must bad up everybody.
That's not masculinity.
That's not masculinity.
That's a personality issue.
You're a bully.
It would have been the same if you came across a woman who was that way. If you had a dog in your yard, they would just cross angry for no reason. The personality is a part of the makeup of who you are.
Yes.
And
the surroundings.
It is far more important for us to appreciate. Good for you that you were properly socialized. But to assume that everybody else got the benefit of it. What masculinity requires is that you get to a point socially where you look around you and realize that, yeah man, you rate Noran Price. You think you wanna be Noran Price. Then you can't stay over yonder. Just the realization that to be a better person, now you have to find the ways. You can't sit over there and find 100 reasons why it never happened, and why your situation, and why. I said the same thing about a man who will get up and tell me, boy, things rough. And I asked him, so what have you done to get out of it? Because we've spent the last hour telling me every reason why life has not happened. And I said, have you sought to change your circumstance? Women can afford to not confront a set of issues because they can exist under an umbrella of sacred emotion. Men have no choice. You're either going to face it or going to beat it. Done. So today, you say it's the complaining that beat you. It's not so much the complaining that beat me. I was saying to you before we started, I never knew I would come across the Jamaican man who has a distant relationship with work and an absolute disdain for hard work. So we now have a whole set of, yeah man, when a man, they don't know, and they're comfortable with an understanding that work is hard, so let's avoid it. Hard work? No man, that can't work. And I don't quite understand, but I blame, and if I start, if we're going, I don't care people.
Yes, you care zero. That's honest.
The people responsible for nurturing us are women, our mothers, our grandmothers, whatever. They nurture us. And if we end up in a situation where we still think we're 4 and 5 years old when we're 25 years old. Then we have to look at what it is that has put us in this lull and this valley of the shadow of nothing. It must mean that somebody has held us and created us and rocked us to sleep and insisted that don't worry yourself. You're only getting older, but you're still the baby. You still
Coddled.
don't, you still
You're
don't
being
need
coddled.
to become a man. And then we say, all right, let's step out into society and we ask ourselves, what's happening here? And then explain to women, I'm a real man. Oh, you're a real man who can't wash, can't cook, can't clean his own shoes. He barely have an ability to brush his own teeth. But him out there with this idea. And he will always say, well, if your mother can do it for you, any other woman should.
So that's coddling. So does that mean masculinity is under attack?
It's not
Because
it's not under attack, it's underwater.
Underwater.
Yeah.
Here's where I bring it up. People like to use the phrase real man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the judgment of the word real, the measurement of the word real is subjective based on each person, right? But a real man, if I'm going to say what a real man is somebody who, as you said, do what has to be done even if you don't like it.
But if you fear Nora, would it then mean that those, for whatever myriad of reasons, are unable to do them not real?
No, I realize where the interpretation can get
No,
muddy.
because it's like I said to people, I don't have real friends. I have friends. Because if you're either my friend or you're not. So if me not getting another fake friends up there, my friends are my friends. And in the day them reach a stage that they are no longer my friends, and the fake them fake. We
So
just
no
not friend no more.
So as a man,
So a lot of men have aspired for a lot in, but they don't have the network. If you have a problem, you can call me. I'm not going to say to you, Noran, brother, I'm not a psychiatrist. And you believe that when I give you the listening ear, instead of turning away, you believe that I'm going to give you what's in your best interest as advice. A man in a certain kind of circle, if he understands that to be a man means you solve your own problems, then he's always a man with a problem. He's always a man, because no man is an island. So when we look at him, he has failed to accomplish what even we think or know he should be able to accomplish. But he doesn't understand, simply because of his socialization, that sharing and seeking and reaching out is not weakness.
which most of us, I believe, came up. Actually, not even us. I believe even our fathers, they were saying, "Hey, this soft thing," and we've seen where it gone by because again,
You can still only for them
they're walking cracks.
but only for them at that one brethren. What they try to tell us is, you don't walk and expect the world to sorry for you. And we interpret that to mean, all right, so that means if we have a problem,
shut up.
Nobody enough to know. That's really not what it is. But at the same time, how many of us truly have
that person?
A person.
A person, not even that. A person.
That you know is wise counsel, has experience, because I have a whole heap, I know a whole heap of, I could call them good man. Where I couldn't go to them with certain things and relate, and they relate to it. They'd love to be able to say certain things to me, but the truth is, they don't know. And because they don't know, you don't really confide in them. But you'd be surprised to know, you know everything under the sun about them.
Whose fault is that?
It's not
it came from somewhere.
Yeah.
It came from somewhere. So
he's also socialized to be
the stoic,
a man who he's a good man, but he's been so straight laced and straight lined that he don't know that party life where wayward. He don't know the girls' life where wayward. He don't know money life where wayward. So that when you sit down with him and say, bro, say, yeah, this I go on and find out that and that. He don't know. He has had the first girlfriend he did have. It's the same girlfriend him have to this day. Him take book and him go school, and him go work and him in at the church. So the good thing is everybody must have an ear for somebody else. Somebody don't like listen. And all of us must have an ear to speak into.
Yes.
So that at all times, and I think we need to re-socialize our men. But
can you re-socialize a man who is in his 40s and 50s?
You can re-socialize a man. We need to, and the argument is, we need to re-socialize our men from boy days. It don't make no sense to sit down now, focusing on how best to make today's man great. While it's like we're focused on how to change gunman and make them get a straight laced life. While an entire factory of youth are coming into gunman life. So it's like, you sit down and try use social intervention to soften bad man, but the factory is working. We need to understand, and this is we, as in we as men and the women who we have children with or share a relationship with. Because sometimes the child is yours, but you take her up and it's your child. Or that biological child will share. That the idea of raising a boy cannot be a divided issue. You can't compensate and excuse over this side and be strong and focused on this side. If it's 9 o'clock his bed, when him stay at your yard, it's 9 o'clock. If stay at my yard, it's 9 o'clock. Because it, as human nature would have it, many of our boys have grown up divided.
Yes.
So they reach for the things that comfort them. So their wayward behavior, the same way them can get with certain things with their mother. They end up with a group of friends, and if you ever hear them go on a school, so when you go to school and say, no sir,
I don't mind people.
I can't mind you this. Yeah.
Because the friends have more influence.
And then there's somebody who keeps saying, it's alright man. A boy pick me, man, he may grow tight man. No, him just I go through a phase. Really?
Are we stunting our young men to become stunted grown men? Meaning if we don't intervene, as you said.
Stunted how though?
Meaning if you're doing just say, yeah man, this is a boy pick man, just so. If that is being done en masse, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
So how can we then know, as older men, corral the young men to say, hey, because the fact is they would only respect who they respect.
Yeah.
You can't force them to respect you.
Well, if I would respect you, don't know. But him grandmother have a different perspective than him rating grandmother. Him only be that man round you.
Round you.
But if him grandmother give him a different kind of profile. The profile that says, look here now. Any woman we can do this, and a good woman. Make sure she can that same way some grow you.
Mm-hmm.
And as don't take the talk from the woman. Not this, not that. It's we have to understand the foundation of growing a good human being can never change. What people keep thinking is that things and time change, so we have to change with the times. The foundation of a house, a good foundation, will always be a good foundation. It don't matter the decor and the aesthetics. And a lot of people believe that the roof must go on before the foundation set. So we can't take a chance and decide that the foundation can be weak lesson, strong lesson, super strong lesson. And our biggest problem as men is getting people to understand when we say this is wrong and we tell them what it is, they need to accept the fact that we know.
Why do they need to accept the fact?
I've
Is it
never
that we
met
want blind trust?
I've never met a woman who's been a man, but I've always met women who can tell me
How
everything
man
about
stay.
men.
Yep, yep.
And even if six of us sit down and tell one woman,
She's gonna say, I saw.
look here, you've got it wrong. No, she's heard it all along. And I will say this, and people need to understand it. Every man in society exists the way he does because of the woman in his life.
I agree with that.
And
I agree with that.
I'm wearing cologne. I put on a decent shirt and pants, and I came here to sit down and have a chat to you. If I had a woman in my life, this one, the one before, who was alright with me walking in here in a marina and a shorts, a jaw slippers, with a split tail in my mouth, and me a try to say to you, you don't know, then how you must tell me, say, bro, you have it wrong. No. Every woman me have,
Tell me say it's alright.
my thing right. So, brother, you want now, you need to check yourself. We only function in this world to satisfy the woman we have in our lives. And whether people want to accept it or not, if we knew we could have 100 women and we not bathe, like probably we bathe once a month, but we still a get girls and nobody not come.
The success determines
Why
the
would
behavior.
we bathe?
Yeah, the success rate determines the behavior.
Right? If we never have to work a day in our life, we could have just get up and go up on our hands and sit down, and we could have get 100 girls who
Well,
know
to
say
work.
we not depend on something else.
Well, more,
Right?
well,
So in the end, a lot of who we are depends on the woman who structures or what our mothers accept. If our mothers accept us walking through a door and we open the door and the door fly and lick her, and she said, boy, me I tell you, you know, easy, you know, and we're gone. And every day that's how we function. Then how exactly it is that when we reach 25, we're supposed to do what? We're supposed to be cultured and socially gracious. No.
so am I wrong for expecting a certain behavior of a man? He wasn't raised the way I was raised. Just a decent, just a basic manners level.
No, you are not wrong for expecting it out of a man. Because when I was a boy, I did boyish things.
There are men out there doing boyish things too.
No, they are doing boyish things now because they've found the places where it's accepted.
The success rate has,
right? It's just like for a man to say to me, boy, my father used to take truck tire and beat me and whip me down with clothes iron and very, alright, cool. So now that you're a parent, no, someone could have never made that happen to my good. So you have the ability, in spite of your experiences,
Absolutely,
to understand
decency
with a mature mind. And they must say an educated mind. Because it doesn't take a PhD for somebody to understand what life is about.
Absolutely.
So you cannot give us excuses. Masculinity does not compensate well. It doesn't absorb excuses well. Mm-hmm. We don't go to war with a man who is in the trenches and the army is attacking us, and there is a brethren with the rifle up in the air saying, brother, may I tell you the truth? You're not a girl that now work out in a brother. And shot a beat and a drop and just said to him, yo, me could deal with it. Yeah, but me I say, the whole of we are dead. We can't afford to compromise in that moment. At the same time, we can't afford to go into war knowing that we have this issue and not try to fix it. But I do not have a responsibility to make you, Nora, into a man. That's my responsibility when you are my son.
All right. Here's the issue with that statement.
Not a grown man.
That statement now is debatable because every message that is sent to a man is fix the generation that's coming up.
Right.
Tell them they need to be good men.
Yeah, the generation that's coming up, the boys who are coming up.
Or even your friends beside you.
No, you
make
can,
your friends
you can
good
check,
men.
You can check your friends. But it's not your job to make your friends into good men. Because every man must know the foundation upon which he sits.
But the world demands us. The world demands that when you hear a woman talking about the guy that whistle after her or try to touch her arm, every man is told, make him better. Make him better. But no, you're saying it's not our responsibility.
It's not my responsibility to make him better. It's my responsibility to make him know why she finds it offensive and what is a better approach.
Masculinity can be dangerous.
But I can't police his life.
You can't police the man.
To make him into that man. He should know that after spending time around us, he doesn't need to become perfect, but because he's around us, that is part of the molding. We didn't make him into a man or a better man. He decided he had a choice. He could easily go find himself in places where everybody else is up to what he's up to. Yeah.
Masculinity is also, it can put a man in danger because once you are the man in any environment, once you are the man, there is an expectation that you are going to either do something, fix something, or save something. True or false?
It is true, and
it's expected.
You can be stupid. You can be brave. You can be stupid and brave.
Yes.
Or you can be practical.
No, unfortunately, what I see happening a lot is if I am the man here and I have 2 young ladies with me, and you and 10 of your brethren decide to want to go around with me tonight, want to go fuck with me tonight. I am one of those men go towards that woman. I am expected to protect her. I am expected to stand up for her and protect her.
When it is that
no, there's no when. It is expected.
It is expected. You will be the one to make the decision about how that expectation plays out.
But if you even stand up to this bunch of men who decide tonight I'm going to mess with somebody and I get hurt or even worse, I am killed. If I don't do anything, I am described as not a man. My entire social circle is now looking at me like you are a wuss, you're a sap, you're not a real man. But if I go there and I get killed, my daughter has no father.
No,
my parents have no child.
You don't go that far. If you take what you know to be the required action at the time, you'd be surprised to hear, I appreciate the fact that you stood up for me, but I really think you went overboard. Well, no.
Why not everybody get that?
No, all of a sudden, you are now labeled as somebody who I had no idea you had that volume of aggression in you. You realize that your attempt to protect is now read in a different way. It's 10 man,
And you take on 10
2 of the man them go physical and you have to deal with it with an understanding, and suddenly you're now the target of the investigation to say, you know what, I don't think we should do this, because next thing you know is me a turn around not with that. So
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, in a way, I say it's always a good idea to know what to do and
for those
get
of
the
us
solution that you want and not the solution.
But there are some men who live. Some men, they judge and measure masculinity by the validation of the women around them, whether it's the woman or the girl will like them. So if the girls around you find you cool, you feel like a man. But the same guy who is going to be soft-spoken and not respond, he's called soft because he's not beat on the chest. So that man is still masculine.
No,
that man is still masculine. To people who are maybe emotionally intelligent, they might say, yo, the man realized what going on and catch a rake and say, you know what? Me now go in against 10 months, so guess what? Let us walk.
You can't be in one frame. You can't try to be all things in one frame.
No.
You have to be the fire that can burn, but don't burn on an entire place. You have to be the wind that can cool, but don't blow it up. Right? You have to be the rain that replenishes.
Without flooding.
You have to be the thunder and lightning that electrifies, but you don't catch places of fire or destroy things. So all these things put together is the man. The man who is seeking the validation of woman. We have to understand why that one versus that one is seeking validation. But if he gets a certain kind of woman, he's a certain kind of man. Then if he gets another kind of woman, then he becomes a different kind of man. Sooner or later, we have to ask the question, who is he? If he has a bit, I want to talk about the girl is where I play the role just to get through. We're talking about a man who is seeking validation, not vagina, 2V, but it's not the same. The validation seeker is a man who is searching for something.
He wants a feeling.
And
He's searching for a
if
feeling.
he's searching for it in a woman, we have asked many times, what is it that is missing that you believe a woman can bring to you? It's the very same reason why a lot of men have money. They use money to validate themselves, but what they're trying to do is get a woman to accept and validate them. And I mean,
I'll go a step further. There are some men
Bill Gates'
who,
wife and him left, don't they?
there are some men who they want the validation of the men around them.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna argue and say, boys, you don't want to be impressive to your brethren and maybe once or twice. I can understand that feeling. It's not
Yeah.
it's not necessarily something I do, but I can understand the feeling.
But you understand when and when he did do it.
I understand when I went
know
on.
when I-
Absolutely. I would never sit here and say
Yeah.
but I also have seen a case where a man will actually become obnoxious, boorish, rude, insolent to somebody else to impress the male friends that he has put up as, yeah, man, this is what I want to be. When I was growing up, my father listened to Teddy P.
Yeah.
That was my vision of what man was.
Oh Jesus, man! Man with
The-
man
the-
shirt
man
open
shirt
all the way
open.
down to the
What's
waist.
that? And the big one here chest
Yeah,
and beard,
man.
yeah.
And
So
him
that's
have
what
a woman only showing.
and that's what I saw as man. But
Come on and go with me.
so how do I go to a man now who me realize, hey brother, you put yourself out, you show off now, you're hype to make your brethren them rate you. So you take what being a man is based on how your brethren them rate you. And if your brethren them ever even look at them don't want to rate you, you lose your mind. Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, but
That man is a problem.
you like art.
Mm-hmm.
There are many times you have a piece of art on a wall in your house, and somebody comes and says, that's really very interesting. And they're getting different things from it, and somebody come and look on it and say,
Foolishness.
what is life and your direction is like an abstract on a wall. A lot of the times, and I can't say I blame a lot of men. If all you know when you're growing up is that cow's milk is the best thing, and that's what you've had all your life, and when you walk in your community, cow's milk, I said like, whoa, you're not that person who has gone out there and seen that nobody else is drinking cow's milk and all these things. So when we meet you as a grown man and you say, brother, cow's milk, me thing, I'm gonna say, yo, hold on, little man. You'd be surprised to know that that man can probably try to show us the benefit of cow's milk, and somebody start draw feed. On the other hand, he cannot throw away the compass that has
That's
given
his
him
north.
direction
That's
for life.
his north. All is that.
And that is why I said, if you look at children in a community, They live in the worst circumstances and they go to school. Every child who has the opportunity to gain an education has the ability to come out better than the geographical circumstances.
Yes. Yes.
It's very easy for us to try and tell them, well, this is your lot in life, work with it. Because try know. I know Dr. Urban and growing a worse than River. Nobody never come there, come
Pick
beat
them
him
out.
and polish him.
Go rich.
I also, as you well know some of the most dysfunctional people in history who came out of the wealthiest families you can think of.
Yes.
So this idea that where people come from is,
There's a direct correlation
already.
to- no.
So men and the idea of masculinity. And by the way, let us not act as if we haven't had our own roller coaster on the way, right? There are many things I've done in my lifetime, and I said to people, maybe it's God's richest blessing why I never end up as one of the most notorious. Maybe it is that I can now sit and understand what it's like to have money and lose it. I can understand what it is like to hurt one's feelings and go on with a bag of things. I can also understand what it is like to try and not be that man and take all manner of physical and verbal abuse. And then have to sit down and say, God,
I'm not.
you know what I said, all right? Because there is no such thing. Yes, your father gave you a good example, but there is no such thing as a custom made man. The examples you have are a guide, right? A schoolmate of mine get released from prison recently. We all knew that he was never ever in the past and probably never ever will be the guy who cuss, the guy who drink, the guy who smoke, the guy who no. But he found himself in a situation, and even when it went the route of being criminal, it was probably the most laughable scenario because he went down a road that he was never familiar with. Now, sadly, it turned out bad. But the best of us have had
Bad days.
bad experiences. The worst of us can come out and look at good things. The key to masculinity is the acceptance that it is a work, not necessarily in progress, but a work towards perfection. You will never get there.
But it's the journey of the work.
You have to do
I
it.
want to switch gears for a second because there's something.
Heist. Anybody have any
Heist.
heist?
Here's something that bothers me. You being big and tough and said this is a foolish, that doesn't make you a man too. But I believe that Jamaican men are way too obsessed with homosexuality. Let me tell you what I mean. How many times have you had a conversation or heard a conversation with somebody say, yo, 1, 2, 3. You want to talk on Mike, talk about Michelle. No, man, I go mandibula, girl, whatever. No, I will not be a hypocrite. When you're bridging them at talk, and a man say, yo, no, I'm part of that thing. Yo, dress up that. Yeah. Yes, it's all in good fun.
It's actually intellectually wonderful to be able to be sharp enough in a conversation.
But here's my problem.
Yeah, but
I think that it has now spread to beyond the tree bridging and sit down to I've been in a meeting and heard a man say to his supervisor when the supervisor said, listen, I want you to discuss number 2. Man said, yo, boss, in the soup, gonna do 2, to one of my thing, And for example, the North American version.
Idiocy,
the Black American version where a man ever says something and the man, pause, or no homo, but me like a shirt. Why are we so obsessed with homosexuality? The disclaimer. Why are we so obsessed for something that as Jamaicans we're supposed to hate and burn based on everything?
And it's so funny,
Why are we so obsessed?
Look in our culture and see who burn it the hardest. The man them who burn it the hardest and declare themselves the closest to the goddess and God himself is the man them who 37 of them are walk together. And the furthest pants, they are them knee.
Knee back.
Man in a one underpants, two underpants, and everybody a walk together. And them say, yo, we burn them boy there, you know. You just say we are gallus boy. Yeah. And you say to yourself, is there a reason why? Because I never ever knew as a man that I have to say to somebody, yo, me a gallus, you know. Because
if I have to say it,
no, if you're a gallus, you're a gallus. People see it and know it.
It's like the people say alpha, 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 man, alpha, man, alpha. So, brother, if you're alpha, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah, so the obsession with it, you know.
So you agree it's an obsession?
Yeah, there's an obsession with it. But the obsession, and let us be fair to a part of the context. And let us run with some boy with another part of the context. Jamaica's more churches per square mile than anywhere in the world. Our generation and those before us, for many years, church was not a joke thing.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't choose to go to church. So everybody understand the 10 Commandments, and you've heard it all. Good? So you grow with an understanding that this cannot work, that cannot work, and so on. Then of course, you might have that father and that mother. Your mother brags to everybody she can find. Boy, I tell you about Nora, this is Jesus. You want to see girl, and you're 7 years old. You know, say, some 10-year-old girl are running down. Lord Jesus. You can imagine. And everybody say, yeah, he's going to be a heartbreaker, you know. That is supposed to be a stamp of approval, you know. That women are saying, you're going to be a heartbreaker. Not that you're going to bully a girl. And really, the part that comes is, you're going to be a heartbreaker. And they're proud of the fact that all these girls want to. And your father says, well, one thing we know.
He's not about to mind.
We don't have to worry about that, you know. Because now, he's guaranteed a grandchild, you know. Because try now, if you walk with a different girl every hour and the hour in your father's house, in your father's house, and the years are passing, and you reach 30 or 25, you can't go, the father who is saying to you, yo, remember me tell you, you know, yeah man, you can't explain to him. Don't worry yourself, man. You soon get a grandchild. And use the fact that there ain't so much girl now. Him say man, I said, you know, brother, something wrong with you. So you know when you go wedding, you know the biggest pressure wedding? As a man, if you ever hear a newlywed couple and you don't hear about where the honeymoon going, you start hearing them mumble. Then I saw him start everything. And everybody knock glass and them try to tell you, so guess what? Remember now, you know? Baby, 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 baby. So the longer it take, is the less of a husband you are.
You are. So you're being judged.
Yeah, because your wife is always going to... Should have done more than...
How linking back to this obsession with homosexuality. Is that insecurity? Is that ignorance? Because again, not tell you, if we're joke or being intentionally facetious, fine. But to hear a grown man.
You ever live in a house with 8 brethren?
No.
I mean,
we grew up with.
I mean a dorm or a mansion.
No, I've never.
They talk about, all right, like a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom.
Never.
So every morning you wake up, all about a man that and who now roll and difference and run a boat. Yeah. Them man there, no, will be the first set of man to always go there, no, and bully.
Born Batman.
Why? Because make them and a woman in them community ever start an argument, and the first thing she said, then hold on then.
You only with 8 man.
They and 10 man each up in a house because the number keep increasing. The whole I want to just see them with the long sheet and it goes on.
So
and
is
on.
that a participant of the
It's
The obsession.
part of the obsession is to try and ensure that you're seen and I'm seen and he's seen as a man.
Look for me, look for me. Not
Because
everyone.
we want to make sure say, yo, we born that, so you can understand, say, me a man, That's why I'm about it.
So therefore, we were still trying to impress the Virgin by saying, "I'm so not gay." Look for me, not everyone.
Yeah, but
So why are
what,
we so
what,
obsessed?
hold on, watch how life fun. The two man them stand up and I say, but him man, dog. Really, dog, hurry up, no man. You just a smoke off the weed, so yeah.
Share a split.
Well, them have no problem share a split. Them have no problem. As a matter of fact, them have no problem of sleep with the same girl at the same time. All of a sudden, the fact that the two of them naked, very close together with one girl. Them not see nothing wrong with that,
The girl is in between.
And I said, hold on. It's a twisted existence.
It's a hypocritical twist.
It might be hypocritical, but it goes back to what they have as the template for masculinity. If you have a father who will tell you and an uncle there who will tell you, say, one thing I know,
trying to bring that.
and you see I move shaky, So now you do everything possible. And in fact, you become an overly aggressive man.
For no reason. That is toxic masculinity.
To prove. So you see, even you do it when you're tough and I'm around you,
surface.
It's not that you're a bully, You talk to him 2 times, him get 2 servants, you box him now in front of him.
You are a bully.
No, I'm saying. So when you box him now, the first, remember, can't afford to have no soft man, Why? We don't want people feel say we are them man. And it's ignorant. But if we are honest enough to be able to say to them, yo, how you gonna feel 5 years from now? When him have the whole of the girl then. He might drive him Audi in Q and I pass with 20 girls. Cause yeah. Or I start reason with them and find out why they are the way they are. We don't ask boys why they are the way they are. We allow boys to ferment, figure it out, feel, or fight for it.
We'll talk about the lesson afterwards.
We're trying to get a full-grown oak tree and turn it into a different kind of tree.
So we're part of it. We're not doing it the best way to get the best result.
No, we're not.
Because I work at a factory, get a Pepsi, cold Pepsi, cold to the point of the ice in the bottom. So I drink out my Pepsi and say, I want ice. So I'm in a warehouse, so I'll be a man in a warehouse, but you have some young ladies there. And of course, sometimes you have some man where once ladies are around, everybody starts showing off, everybody chest get bigger, everybody voice get deeper. But I want to impress the girls, fine. Not to the ice, I'm gonna stay so I'm gonna box the bottom of the ice. The bottle will come on ice. Yo, what kind of body man thing that man? Yo,
yeah, down in you go.
I could have done 2 things.
Man, there is a them not peel banana and eat banana.
Could I get vexed? But me look at them and say, so me I drink a Pepsi and you think about a penis and next man mouth and the bottom.
Alright.
And the man was offended. Because
and when you try to carry in a whole heap of man step and say, yo, cause
so now I have embarrassed him.
Yeah.
So I got aggression towards him.
Yeah.
So how that is now where fight.
Yeah, man.
But I don't believe that is masculine behavior on his side. No. Because if you decide that you need to embarrass a man to make yourself feel better, you're not a man.
Not only that, if you're man enough to draw a card,
take a card.
You can't look here. You can't exist on a level. I remember a young boy I discovered down the road, he come with this argument about boy, I'm idle and some other stuff. But he challenged me very early. And every day he used to go on one spot regular. He just want to challenge me. So I get beaten all the time. And a man said to him one day, brother, you don't give up, Man, I say, yo, me not stop trying till me feel say me reach them man level. I was, it, I bother some youth, but I don't realize he's not trying to prove that he's better than me.
He's trying to raise his level.
And I said to him, I said, then, bro, how it work? Him say, boss, me hear how you and the big man them reason,
And I want that.
So, man, you don't know. So I said, you know, what you're trying to do is jump out of an aeroplane without a parachute and try to learn skydiving. It don't work like that, And I said, how do you know I am a man that is worthy of emulation in any way? You don't know. You see me sitting here.
You have pedestalized me. You have put me up there.
But I said, I might be the worst man. He said, no, Let's see how 20 man I got so. And you said, me go there, sir, brother. And the man, and them gone. You say, yes, if you're a man able to go against the crowd, no one that because him spend many years having to follow the crowd. Madness, he had to follow the crowd, the community thing. And him have to leave it. So now he's trying to find
he wants out.
He wants to find masculinity that is a different energy
from that.
Now, I'll be very honest with you. Because I found him bothersome, because I didn't really understand where he was coming from. I could have run him in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would have eventually happened? Not necessarily for the long term, but at least in that moment and in reasonable time, that he would have said, see there, that me I tell you, man. That's why more while I see them, man, you ever just allow them, because them fight against youths when them serve. No, as you well know, the man who sweep out a door is a man who can say me and him reason. The CEO, the owner, me and him reason. No man shall ever sit around me and violate people based on their standing in life. The flip side to that is, you cannot use the excuse to violate on the basis that you think, oh, I just true, man, they are hustling the most. No. We would be shocked the amount of results. Like me and you can just leave and go in an half tree, go stand up. And we see a thing go on and how we approach it. The result, and we walk, leave it, and that result, 7 years time, I would stop you and say, big man, remember me? And you say, no. And he tells you how he dealt with it in the moment, gave him something different. We are in a time now, Nora, that it is very difficult to ask us to help the youth, to develop them into men. Because we are the first generation that don't care about, we talk about the youth. We don't care about the youth. Because we are the first generation that decided to make the youth free. We grew under rule, we grew under law, we grew under order. But with grandparents as well, with parents, with grandparents, with great grandparents, we are the first set who get up and say, free up the youths, them man. Too long them under bondage, man. Me they go under, my father go under, a time below that, man. We turn around and give the youth an open field and said to them have rights and them need freedom.
I actually agree.
Them need to express themselves. And so what happened? Marble a play. And people laugh at me with this. I mean, I'll say it again. Marble never start play with we. Marble a play from as far back as boy. Bird bush, bicycle riding, scrimmage, all these things. We are the first generation that make youths stop go outside. We do everything to keep them inside. We don't even want the youth them learn to ride a bicycle. Just so we put them in a suit of armor and teach them, because everything is so dangerous. We can't afford for you to grow up in reality. Masculinity does not compromise, right? And we need to be more, me, yeah, you, we need to be more than just the identifiers of the crime. We need to be more than just the detective. We need to be the kindergarten and the primary focus of youths. Holy boy, we are right to go, I be what them call, motivational speaker in a big companies. But yet somebody said to you, by the way, you want somebody go talk to the sixth grade youth them and Shetland Park Primary. Anybody occasion, nothing. Boy, dog, this, oh, because that not going to give us anything on the ground. Especially if it's not about that. What we want is who we need to be. And I am far from a perfect man, but I will always seek to be a good one. But the only way it makes sense is if I can do something for nothing.
And I feel so many.
Too much of us are living in an Insta life. You understand?
You can't do that. I want to thank you, my brother.
I can't get no highs.
Ice gone. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it.
I tell you already, look here, people, just so you know, I cuss and go on, but the fact that I was not invited around these parts, right?
Yeah.
So the agreement was, and then, it's really not like that. I don't need to be a staple. I'm not an expert on anything, I do something close to nothing but different from the day before. But you, as my friend, have something right, and anytime you call, and I'll offer my $3. No, and a 2 cents again.
$3.
No, the valuation. Like $3 worth of value.
I appreciate it, brother.
Brother, what is this?
Jesus.
Where the heist?
The heist done, sir. Cheers. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. This was the Grown Men Talk podcast, GMTP. Thank you to our media people, cameraman Kai, big up yourself. Lyndon, wherever you are, hope you're having fun. We'll be back next week. Shh. You don't know that, but man. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. You're going to get some more clips from this video. We have clips circulating. And you know what? If you guys want us to discuss a particular topic, feel free. Send us some comments and tell us what you want us to talk about.
Show us some ideas.
It's Grown Men Talk. That's what we're doing. We talk to the ladies too. So please, ladies, feel free to come and talk to us as well.
It's not a woman bashing.
We're coming from Incognito Vacation Stays off Hagley Park Road. I'll tell you, man, this place is fantastic. You're gonna see more from this place. Oh, we know. We're gonna do in a pool show very soon.
Suffer treat for a long time, Because it take a long time.
Somebody come in and say, "With ice." We don't know that. Ice.
Somebody get ice.
Thank you very much, folks, for tuning in. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Who knows what we're going to talk about. But thank you much. Grown Men Talk podcast. Big up yourself, Rodney.
Bless up.
Brother Kai, big up. Lyndon, and we're there. Incognito, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We are out of here.